She hid her child from the billionaire CEO for a decade, until only his rare blood could save her. 10 years. That's how long Sofia Martinez had kept her secret, raising her daughter alone, while the man who fathered her built a tech empire worth billions. She'd convinced herself it was for the best, that Alexander Knight's world of hostile takeovers and ruthless ambition had no place for a child conceived during one passionate night. But when 9-year-old Isabella is diagnosed with a rare blood disorder, and only her father's equally rare blood type can save her, Sofia must face the man she's avoided for a decade and pray he has more heart than the tabloids suggest. Before we dive into this emotional story, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our heartwarming stories. The Children's Hospital of Seattle had become Sofia's second home over the past 3 weeks. She knew every crack in the waiting room ceiling, every squeak in the hallway floors, every beep and alarm from the machines keeping track of her daughter's failing body. Isabella lay in the hospital bed looking so small against the white sheets, her olive skin pale and her dark hair, so like her father's, spread across the pillow. "Mom?" Isabella's voice was weak, but her eyes, those striking grey eyes that were definitely not from Sofia's side of the family, were alert. "You're doing that worried face again." "Sorry, baby." Sofia smoothed her daughter's hair, forcing a smile. "Just thinking." "About what Dr. Chen said?" Sofia's heart clenched. Even at 9, Isabella was too perceptive, too aware of the gravity of her situation. The rare blood disorder, something with a name so long Sofia couldn't pronounce it, was destroying her red blood cells faster than her body could make them. The only treatment was regular transfusions of a very specific blood type, a type so rare that the hospital's blood bank had exhausted its supply. "We're going to figure it out," Sofia promised, the lie tasting bitter on her tongue. "I know." Isabella squeezed her hand weakly. "You always figure things out, like when the car broke down and you fixed it with duct tape and a hair tie." "That was temporary, baby." "But it worked." Isabella's eyes fluttered closed. "I trust you, Mum." Those 3 words broke something inside Sofia. She waited until her daughter's breathing evened out in sleep, then slipped into the hallway where Dr. Chen was reviewing charts. "Any word from the blood banks?" Sofia asked, though she already knew the answer from the doctor's expression. "I'm sorry, Sofia. We've checked nationwide. Her blood type is so rare, Duffy negative combined with that unusual antigen pattern, we've only found 3 potential donors in the entire registry. And? One is in Australia, currently undergoing chemotherapy. One is 93 years old in Florida, medically unable to donate. The third..." Dr. Chen hesitated. "The third hasn't responded to our requests." "Who is it?" Sofia's voice was desperate. "I'll go myself. I'll beg if I have to." "The donor registry is confidential. All I can tell you is that they're local, healthy, and a perfect match." Dr. Chen touched her shoulder gently. "We'll keep trying. But Sofia, you might want to consider reaching out to Isabella's father. Blood relatives have a higher chance of compatibility, and with her specific markers..." Sofia's stomach dropped. "I told you, he's not in the picture." "I understand. But if there's any way to contact him..." "I'll think about it." Sofia turned away, unable to meet the doctor's knowing gaze. Back in Isabella's room, Sofia stared at her daughter's sleeping face and saw Alexander Knight in every feature. The sharp cheekbones that would be stunning when she grew up. The dark hair with that stubborn wave. The long fingers that already showed artistic promise. Even her stubborn streak and brilliant mind were his. 10 years ago, Sofia had been a bartender at an upscale hotel in downtown Seattle, working nights to pay for her teaching degree. Alexander Knight had been a young tech genius, celebrating the acquisition that would launch Knight Industries into the stratosphere. He'd stayed after closing, and they'd talked until dawn, about books, dreams, the future. For one night, he'd been just Alex, not the ruthless businessman the papers portrayed. One night that changed everything. When she'd discovered she was pregnant, Sofia had tried to contact him. But by then, Alexander Knight was no longer the vulnerable man who'd shared his fears about success isolating him. He was on magazine covers, dating supermodels, building an empire. His assistant had offered her money to go away, assuming she was after a payday. Sophia had hung up and never tried again. She'd built a good life for Isabella, a small apartment, a job teaching third grade, friends who'd become family. Isabella had never asked about her father, seeming to understand it was just them against the world. It had been enough, until now. Sophia pulled out her phone, staring at the Knight Industries website. Alexander's photo stared back. Older now, harder, but still devastatingly handsome. Still the man who'd quoted poetry between discussions of code and looked at her like she was the most fascinating person in the world. Her daughter stirred, whimpering in her sleep. The monitors beeped, showing numbers that made the nurses frown. Time was running out. With shaking fingers, Sophia dialed the number she'd memorized but never used. Knight Industries, Mr. Knight's office. How may I direct your call? I need to speak with Alexander Knight. It's a personal matter, a medical emergency. I'm sorry, but Mr. Knight doesn't take personal calls. If you'd like to leave a message, please. Sophia's voice cracked. Tell him Sophia Martinez called. Tell him it's about that night at the Fairmont Hotel, 10 years ago. There was a pause. One moment, please. Sophia was placed on hold, her heart pounding. She'd probably be dismissed again, but she had to try. For Isabella. Ms. Martinez. A different voice, older, more authoritative. This is Margaret Chen, Mr. Knight's executive assistant. Mr. Knight will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Do you know the address? Sophia nearly dropped the phone. He'll see me? Tomorrow at 10. Please be prompt. Mr. Knight has a busy schedule. The line went dead. Sophia stared at her phone, trembling. After 10 years, she was going to face Alexander Knight. And somehow, she had to convince him to save the daughter he didn't know existed. The next morning, Sophia stood outside the Knight Industries building, a gleaming tower of glass and steel that seemed to pierce the cloudy Seattle sky. She'd left Isabella with the nurses, promising to be back soon with good news. She'd worn her best dress, not that anything in her wardrobe could compete with the designer suits flowing in and out of the building. The lobby was all marble and modern art, intimidating in its perfection. At the security desk, she gave her name and was immediately escorted to a private elevator. Mr. Knight's office is on the top floor, the security guard said. Ms. Chen will meet you. The elevator ride seemed endless. Sophia practiced what she would say, how she would explain. But how did you tell a man he had a daughter? How did you ask him to save a child he'd never known? The elevator opened to a reception area that screamed money and power. A woman in her 50s with perfectly coiffed hair approached. Ms. Martinez? I'm Margaret Chen. This way, please. They walked down a hallway lined with awards and magazine covers featuring Alexander, Tech Innovator of the Year, America's Most Eligible Bachelor, the Billionaire Who Never Sleeps. Margaret knocked on massive double doors. Come in, a deep voice called, and Sophia's knees nearly buckled. She knew that voice, had heard it whisper her name in the dark. Margaret opened the door and ushered Sophia into an office bigger than her entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased Seattle's skyline, and behind a massive desk sat Alexander Knight. He was more devastating in person than in photos. The years had sharpened his features, added a few lines around his grey eyes. His dark hair was shorter now, his suit probably worth more than her car. But when he looked up and their eyes met, Sophia saw a flash of the man she'd known. Sophia. He stood, and she noticed his hands were clenched. It's been a long time. Hello, Alex. The old nickname slipped out before she could stop it. Something flickered in his eyes. No one calls me that anymore. He gestured to a chair. Please sit. Margaret said this was a medical emergency. Sophia sat, her hands trembling in her lap. She'd rehearsed this, but faced with his intense gaze, all her words fled. I need your help, she began. If you need money, I don't want your money. The words came out sharper than intended. I've never wanted your money. His eyebrows rose. Then what? I need your blood. The silence that followed was deafening. Alexander stared at her, clearly wondering if she'd lost her mind. My blood, he repeated flatly. You have a rare blood type, Duffy negative with an unusual antigen pattern. I know because, she took a deep breath, because your daughter inherited it. The word daughter hung in the air like a bomb. Alexander went completely still, the color draining from his face. What did you say? You have a daughter, Isabella. She's 9 years old and she's dying. The words tumbled out in a rush. She has a rare blood disorder. She needs transfusions, but her blood type is so rare they can't find donors. You're her father. You might be the only person who can save her. Alexander stood abruptly, turning to face the windows. His shoulders were rigid, his hands clasped behind his back. You're telling me, he said slowly, that you've hidden a child from me for 9 years? I tried to contact you when I found out I was pregnant. Your office offered me money to disappear. He spun around. That's impossible. I never... Your assistant at the time, Bradley something. He assumed I was after a payday and offered me $50,000 to sign an NDA and never contact you again. Sophia lifted her chin. I hung up on him. Alexander's face darkened. Bradley Morris. I fired him years ago for overstepping. He ran a hand through his hair, messing its perfect style. You should have tried again. You should have... Should have what? Fought my way through your security. Shown up at one of your galas 7 months pregnant. Sophia stood, anger overcoming fear. You were on the cover of every magazine dating a different woman each week. You'd made it clear that night was just... a night. I never said that. You didn't have to. You left before I woke up. No note, no number, just gone. I had a flight to Tokyo, the merger... He stopped, seeming to realize how it sounded. You're right. I handled it badly, but that didn't give you the right to keep my child from me. I did what I thought was best. Isabella had a stable home, loving family. Without her father. Yes, without her father. Without the media circus and the custody battles and the NDAs. Without being reduced to a line item in your empire. They stared at each other, 10 years of hurt and misunderstanding between them. Is she really dying? His voice was quieter now, almost vulnerable. Sophia's anger deflated. Yes, she's at Children's Hospital. She's been there for 3 weeks. Without regular transfusions, her body can't... She couldn't finish. What do you need me to do? Get tested. If you're a match, and you should be, donate blood. As much and as often as you safely can. She met his eyes. I'm not asking for money or involvement or anything else, just, please, save her. Alexander was already reaching for his phone. Margaret, clear my schedule for the rest of the day, all of it. He paused. And get Dr. Morrison on the line. Tell him I need immediate blood typing and compatibility testing. He hung up and looked at Sophia. I want to see her. Alex, I've missed 9 years of her life. I'm not missing another day. His jaw was set in a way she remembered. I'll get tested now, but I want to meet my daughter. She doesn't know about you. I've never lied to her. Good. We'll tell her the truth. You can't just waltz into her life and... I'm her father. The words were fierce. She's sick and scared, and she deserves to know she's not alone, that she has a father who will move heaven and earth to save her. Sophia sank back into the chair. This is what I was afraid of. You taking over, making decisions. You came to me. He moved around the desk, kneeling in front of her chair. This close, she could see the boy she'd known in the man he'd become. Sophia, you came to me because our daughter needs me. Let me help, please. The please undid her. Alexander Knight didn't beg, but here he was, on his knees, asking for a chance to know his child. Okay, she whispered. But we do this my way. Slowly. She's sick and fragile and... I won't hurt her. He stood, helping her up. I promise you I won't hurt her. An hour later, they were at the hospital. Alexander had been tested at his private physician's office, confirming what Sophia already knew. He was a perfect match. He'd already arranged for a directed donation. his blood to be processed and ready within hours. But now he stood frozen outside Isabella's room, staring through the small window at the child he'd never known existed. "She looks like my mother," he said softly. "The hair, the shape of her face. She has your eyes, your stubbornness too." Sophia watched him drink in every detail of their daughter. She's brilliant, reads at a high school level, loves puzzles and codes and anything complicated. Like her father, like both of us. Sophia touched his arm. "Are you ready?" He nodded, though she could see his hands shaking. The man who commanded boardrooms and destroyed competitors was terrified of meeting a 9-year-old girl. Sophia opened the door. "Bella, you awake, baby?" Isabella turned toward them, her face lighting up at seeing her mother. Then her gaze found Alexander, and her expression turned curious. "Mom? Who's that?" Sophia sat on the bed, taking Isabella's hand. "Bella, you know how you've been needing special blood? How it's been hard to find?" "Because I'm weird," Isabella said matter-of-factly. "Not weird, unique." Sophia squeezed her hand. "Well, we found someone who matches. Someone who can help." Isabella studied Alexander with those two wise eyes. "You have weird blood too." "The weirdest," Alexander said, his voice rough. He moved closer slowly, like approaching a wild animal. I'm a friend of your mom's, from a long time ago. Why haven't I met you before?" Sophia and Alexander exchanged glances. "It's complicated, baby," Sophia said. "But he's here now, and he's going to help you get better. What's your name?" "Alexander. But..." He glanced at Sophia, who nodded slightly. "You can call me Alex if you want." "Alex." Isabella tested the name. "Are you rich? You look rich." Despite everything, Alexander laughed. "What makes you say that?" "Your shoes are really shiny, and you smell expensive." Isabella wrinkled her nose. "Mom says I notice too much." "Nothing wrong with being observant." Alexander sat carefully in the visitor's chair. "What else do you notice?" Isabella studied him with an intensity that was eerily familiar. "You're nervous. You keep touching your watch. Mom does that with her necklace when she's nervous. And you look at me like you're trying to memorize me." Alexander's breath caught. "You're right. I am trying to memorize you." "Why?" "Because..." He looked at Sophia helplessly. "Because he's been away for a long time," Sophia said carefully. "And he wants to remember everything about meeting you." Isabella seemed to accept this. "Are you going to stay after you give me blood?" "Do you want me to?" "Maybe." "Mom gets lonely sometimes. She pretends she doesn't, but I can tell." Isabella yawned. "And it would be nice to have someone else to talk to about coding. Mom tries, but she doesn't really get it." "Hey," Sophia protested gently. "I understand some of it. You called a variable a thingy yesterday. Technical term." Alexander was smiling, a real smile that transformed his face. "What kind of coding do you like?" "Python mostly, but I want to learn Java." Isabella's eyes brightened despite her exhaustion. "Do you know how to code?" "A little." Sophia snorted at the understatement, and Alexander's smile widened. "Maybe I could teach you some tricks, if your mom says it's okay." "Can he, Mom?" Sophia looked between them, her daughter eager for connection despite her illness, and Alexander looking at Isabella like she was a miracle. "We'll see." A nurse entered to check Isabella's vitals, and Alexander stood quickly. "I should go start the donation process. The sooner we get the blood processed..." "Will it hurt?" Isabella asked suddenly. "Giving blood?" Alexander moved back to her bedside. "A little. Like a pinch. But you know what? I bet you've been much braver than I'll be. You've been dealing with needles and hospitals for weeks. It's not so bad once you get used to it." Isabella reached out suddenly, patting his hand. "Don't worry. You'll be okay." Alexander's face crumbled for just a moment before he controlled it. "Thank you. That helps." After he left, Isabella looked at Sophia with those two knowing eyes. "He's my dad, isn't he?" Sophia's heart stopped. "What makes you think that?" "The way you look at each other, the way he looks at me, and—" Isabella touched her own face. "We have the same eyes, the same nose. I'm not dumb, Mom." "Oh, baby, you're not dumb, you're brilliant." Sophia gathered her daughter carefully in her arms. "Yes, Alex is your father. Why didn't you tell me?" "It's complicated, sweetheart. Adult complicated. But I promise I'll explain everything when you're feeling better." "Is he a good person?" Sophia thought about the man who'd dropped everything to save a child he'd just learned existed, who'd knelt in front of her chair and said, "Please," who'd looked at Isabella like she was the most precious thing in the world. "I think he is. He just lives in a different world than us. The rich, shiny shoe world? Something like that." Isabella was quiet for a moment. "I'm glad he's here. Not just for the blood, but because now I know where I got my weird eyes from." "Your beautiful eyes," Sophia corrected. "Mom? Yeah, baby? Are you mad at him for not being around?" "It's complicated. You keep saying that because it keeps being true." Sophia kissed her daughter's forehead. "But no, I'm not mad. Not anymore. I'm just grateful he's here now." 2 hours later, Alexander returned looking slightly pale but determined. Dr. Chen was with him, smiling for the first time in days. "The initial processing looks excellent," she told Sophia. "We'll be able to start the transfusion this afternoon. Mr. Knight's blood is not just compatible, it's ideal. He's also agreed to regular donations as needed. As often as medically safe," Alexander added. He was looking at Isabella, who had fallen asleep. "Whatever she needs." Dr. Chen left them alone, and Alexander took the chair beside Isabella's bed again. "Tell me about her," he said softly. "Tell me everything I've missed." So Sophia did. She told him about Isabella's first word, book, her first steps, at 9 months, straight toward a computer, her first day of school. No tears, just excitement. She told him about science fairs won and art projects that covered their refrigerator, about nightmares soothed and songs sung, about a little girl who'd grown up curious and kind and brave. "She never asked about me." Alexander's voice was rough. "A few times. I told her you had to leave before she was born, that you didn't know about her." Sophia met his eyes. "I never wanted her to think you rejected her, but I did, by leaving that morning, by being unreachable." He rubbed his face. "I was so focused on building my company, proving myself. I thought I had time for everything else later." "We all make choices. You chose her. Every day for 9 years you chose her." He looked at Sophia with something like awe. "You did an incredible job. She's perfect. She's stubborn and messy and asks too many questions." "Perfect," he repeated. They sat in silence, watching Isabella sleep. Finally, Sophia asked, "What happens now?" "Now I save our daughter's life. Then," he paused, "then I'd like to be part of it. Her life. Both your lives, if you'll let me. Alex, I know I have no right to ask. I know I've been absent and you've done everything alone. But I'm here now. And I want to know her. I want her to know me." He turned to face her fully. "I want a chance to be her father. And if I say no, then I'll still donate blood. I'll still make sure she has the best care money can buy. And I'll wait." His grey eyes were intense. "I'll wait until you trust me enough to let me in." "This isn't about trust, isn't it?" He leaned forward. "Sophia, I know I hurt you. I know leaving that morning was cowardly and wrong. But I never forgot that night. Never forgot you. Don't." She stood, needing distance. "Don't romanticize it. We had one night. One night that resulted in that amazing little girl. One night I've thought about for 10 years. He stood too, moving closer. "Do you know why I never married? Never had a serious relationship? Because you're married to your company? Because none of them were you." The words hung between them. "I compared every woman I met to the bartender who quoted Neruda and challenged my theories and made me laugh until my sides hurt. None of them measured up. That's not You can't just say things like that. Why not? It's true. He was close enough now that she could smell his cologne, see the gold flecks in his grey eyes. I hired a private investigator to find you about 5 years ago. What? I wanted to know you were okay, happy. He reported back that you were teaching, living in a nice neighborhood, that you had a daughter. His voice turned bitter. I assumed you'd married, had a family. I never imagined. Why didn't you contact me? Because you deserved better than me, dropping back into your life and disrupting it. You seemed happy. He laughed humorlessly. If I'd known Isabella was mine, everything would be different. Unless, he hesitated, Sophia that night 10 years ago. Did it mean anything to you? Of course it did. It gave me Isabella. That's not what I mean, and you know it. She did know it. That night had meant everything. It had been connection and possibility, and a glimpse of who they could be together. But that was before. Before he left, before she spent years alone, before their lives diverged so completely. It doesn't matter what it meant, she said finally. We're different people now. Are we? He moved closer. Because when I look at you, I see the same woman who challenged me to explain my code in haiku, who made me laugh so hard I forgot about the acquisition, who made me feel like more than my net worth. And when I look at you, I see the man who left without saying goodbye. I left a note. What? I left a note on the pillow, explaining about Tokyo, asking you to dinner when I got back. He frowned. You never called. There was no note. I wrote it on hotel stationery. Put it right. Understanding dawned. Housekeeping. They must have thought it was trash when they cleaned the room. You left a note, Sophia repeated. 10 years of hurt shifting, reshaping. With my personal cell number, my email. I waited for you to call. He laughed bitterly. I thought you'd decided I wasn't worth it, that the night meant nothing to you. And I thought you'd decided the same about me. They stared at each other, the weight of miscommunication and lost time between them. We're idiots, Sophia said finally. Complete idiots, Alexander agreed. But we got Isabella out of it, so I can't regret anything. Me neither. She took a shaky breath. So what do we do now? Now we focus on our daughter. Get her healthy. Get her home. He reached out, taking her hand. And maybe, if you're willing, we see if what we had that night was real. If it could be something more. Alex, no pressure, no rush, just possibility. He squeezed her hand. I've waited 10 years. I can wait longer if needed. Before Sophia could respond, Dr. Chen appeared. Good news. Isabella's latest blood work is excellent. If she continues improving, we can discuss discharge by the end of the week. Really? Sophia felt tears of relief. She can come home? With careful monitoring and regular transfusions, yes. Mr. Knight's donations have given us enough supply for several months, and we're working with the Rare Blood Registry to find additional donors as backup. I'll donate as often as you'll let me, Alexander said immediately. We know. Dr. Chen smiled. Isabella's lucky to have parents who'd do anything for her. Parents. Plural. After so long being Isabella's only parent, the word felt strange but not unwelcome. After Dr. Chen left, Alexander turned to Sophia. Where will you take her? When she's discharged? Home, I guess. I'll need to arrange time off work, figure out her medications. Move in with me. What? Just temporarily, until she's stronger. He rushed on before she could protest. I have plenty of room. You could have the guest wing, your own space. I can work from home to help with her care, and it would be easier for her treatments closer to the hospital. Alex, we can't just move into your penthouse. Why not? It's practical, safe, and... He paused. And I could get to know her. Be there for bedtime stories and breakfast. All the things I've missed. Sophia wanted to say no, it was too much, too fast. But the hope in his eyes, the memory of Isabella asking if he'd stay. Just until she's stronger, she said finally. And we need ground rules. This is about Isabella, not us. Agreed. Whatever you need. Whatever makes you comfortable. I need to think about it. Talk to Isabella. Yeah, of course. He smiled, and for a moment she saw the younger man who'd quoted poetry in a hotel bar. Thank you for considering it. I haven't said yes yet. But you haven't said no. That night, Sophia sat by Isabella's bed, watching her daughter sleep. The color was back in her cheeks, her breathing steady and strong, the miracle of Alexander's blood flowing through her veins. I know you're awake, she said softly. Isabella's eyes opened, a small smile on her face. How do you always know? Mom powers. Sophia smoothed her hair. How are you feeling about everything? About Alex being your dad? It's weird, but good weird. Isabella bit her lip. Are you mad that I like him? Oh, baby, no, never. I want you to like him. He's your father. He said he has a huge TV and every streaming service and a pool. Of course he did. And he said maybe I could have my own computer for coding. Isabella's eyes were bright with excitement. But only if you said it was okay. We'll see. That means no. That means we'll see. Sophia took a breath. How would you feel about staying with him for a while, when you get out of the hospital? Just until you're all better. Isabella's face lit up. Really? We could stay with Dad? Dad. The word still startled Sophia, but Isabella had taken to it naturally, like she'd been waiting to say it her whole life. If you want to. I want to. I want to see where he lives and meet his computer. Isabella giggled. He said he has a computer that's smarter than most people. Probably true. Mom, are you and Dad going to get married? What? No? Why would you think that? Because that's what happens in movies. The parents meet again and fall in love and get married. Isabella's expression turned serious. But it's okay if you don't. I'm just happy he's here. Me too, baby. Me too. The day of discharge arrived with Seattle's typical drizzle. Alexander pulled up in a car that probably cost more than Sophia made in 5 years, but he'd installed a top-of-the-line car seat for Isabella. Safety first, he said, helping Isabella in like she was made of glass. I had 3 different experts consult on the best one. Of course you did, Sophia murmured, but she was touched by his thoroughness. Isabella chattered the entire drive, asking about Alexander's building, his work, if he really had a robot vacuum named Rosie. Alexander answered every question with patience and detail, clearly delighted by her curiosity. And this is home, he said, as they pulled into an underground garage. Well, my home. Your temporary home. Our home. The penthouse was exactly what Sophia expected. Modern, minimalist, expensive, and nothing like what she expected. Because scattered throughout were signs of preparation for a child. Safety covers on sharp corners, a basket of books on the coffee table, a brand new gaming system with age-appropriate games. You baby-proofed, Sophia said, surprised. She's not a baby, Isabella protested, though she was already eyeing the gaming system. I may have gone overboard, Alexander admitted. I wasn't sure what 9-year-olds needed. This is perfect. Isabella spun in a slow circle, taking it all in. Mom, look at the view. The floor-to-ceiling windows showcased Seattle in all its grey glory. Isabella pressed her nose to the glass, pointing out landmarks. Your rooms are this way, Alexander led them down a hallway. I thought you'd want to be close together. He'd given them a suite, 2 bedrooms connected by a living area. Isabella's room made her gasp. It was purple, her favorite color, with a loft bed and a desk setup that would make any young coder jealous. How did you know? Isabella breathed, running her hands over the mechanical keyboard. Your mom may have mentioned a few things. Alexander looked nervous. If you don't like anything, we can change it. Are you kidding? This is amazing. Isabella threw her arms around him impulsively. Thank you, Dad. Alexander froze for a moment, then carefully hugged her back, his eyes meeting Sophia's over their daughter's head. The wonder in his expression made her heart ache. You're welcome, sweetheart. Your mom's room is through here. Sophia's room was more subdued but equally thoughtful. Soft greys and blues, a reading nook by the window, fresh flowers on the dresser. "The closet's stocked with basics," Alexander said, not meeting her eyes. "I had a personal shopper estimate sizes. If anything doesn't fit..." "You bought me clothes. Just essentials. I didn't think you'd want to go back to your apartment right away." He shifted uncomfortably. "Too much." Sophia touched a soft sweater, clearly expensive. "This is too much, Alex." "Nothing is too much for you, either of you." He cleared his throat. "I'll let you settle in. Kitchen's stocked. Dinner's at 6 if you're hungry. I'm cooking." "You cook?" Isabella asked, surprised. "Badly, but I'm learning." He smiled at her. "Your mom's going to teach me." After he left, Isabella turned to Sophia. "He's trying really hard, isn't he?" "Yeah, baby, he is. I like him." Isabella flopped on Sophia's bed. "Is that okay, that I like him so fast?" "Of course it's okay. He's your dad, and he's..." Sophia searched for words. "He's a good man who wants to make you happy. He wants to make you happy too, I can tell." "Isabella, I'm just saying." Isabella grinned. "Can we really stay here? It's like living in a castle. For a while. Until you're stronger." "I feel strong now." "Medical strong, not Isabella strong." "Fine." Isabella sighed dramatically. "Can I set up my computer?" "After you rest." "Mom, rest first. Computer after dinner." Isabella grumbled but curled up on the bed. Within minutes she was asleep, the exhaustion of the hospital stay catching up. Sophia covered her with a blanket, then ventured out to find Alexander. He was in the kitchen, frowning at a cookbook with the same intensity he probably brought to board meetings. "Apparently, season to taste is not specific enough instruction," he said without looking up. "How does one know what it should taste like if one has never made it before?" "What are you making?" "Attempting to make. Chicken soup. From scratch." He gestured at the chaos of ingredients. Isabella mentioned it was her favorite when she's sick. Something warm unfurled in Sophia's chest. "You're making her soup." "Trying to. This recipe has 30 steps. 30. For soup." He looked up, flour somehow in his hair. "Help?" "Move over." Sophia washed her hands, surveying the disaster. "First rule of cooking. It's not a science experiment. Everything is a science experiment if you measure carefully enough. And that's why your soup would taste like sadness." She started organizing ingredients. "Watch and learn." They worked side by side, Sophia teaching, Alexander following her lead with intense concentration. It was oddly domestic, comfortable in a way that surprised her. "You're good at this," Alexander said, as she showed him how to properly dice onions. "Years of practice, single mom, remember? I had to learn fast." "I'm sorry you had to do it alone." "I wasn't alone. I had friends, chosen family. It takes a village and all that." She glanced at him. "But thank you." "For what?" "For not making this about your guilt, for focusing on Isabella instead of what you missed." "Oh, I have plenty of guilt. I'm just saving the self-flagellation for after she's asleep." He attempted to joke, but she heard the truth underneath. "Alex, I know, one day at a time. Focus on now, not then." He smiled ruefully. "My therapist would be proud. I'm using my coping strategies." "You have a therapist?" "Started last week. Figured if I was going to be a father, I should probably deal with my own issues first." He focused on chopping carrots with mathematical precision. "Did you know I have attachment issues stemming from childhood emotional neglect? Apparently, throwing money at problems isn't actually a solution." Shocking revelation. "Right? $40 says my parents' reaction to Isabella will be to set up a trust fund and maybe visit once a year." "Have you told them?" "Not yet. I wanted to make sure she was okay first. And honestly, I'm not ready to share her yet." He glanced at Sophia. "Is that selfish?" "No, it's protective. There's a difference." They worked in comfortable silence until the soup was simmering. Alexander cleaned as they went, a habit that surprised her. "What?" he asked, catching her expression. "You're very domestic. For a billionaire. I lived alone for years before I could afford help. Some habits stick. He dried a pot with focused attention. Plus it's soothing, bringing order to chaos. Is that what we are? Chaos? The best kind. He set down the pot, turning to face her. Sophia, I need to say something. Okay. Thank you for coming to me, for letting me help, for giving me a chance to know her. His voice roughened. I know you had to swallow a lot of pride to ask for help. I'd swallow more than pride to save her. I know that's what makes you an amazing mother. He stepped closer. But I want you to know you don't have to do it alone anymore. Whether we figure out us or not, you'll always have me for her, forever. Alex, no pressure, no expectations, just you're not alone anymore. Neither of you. Before Sophia could respond, Isabella appeared in the doorway, rubbing sleepy eyes. Something smells good, she said hopefully. Soup, Alexander announced proudly. I helped make it. Really? Isabella perked up. You cooked. Your mom did most of it, but I chopped things, very precisely. He measured the carrots, Sophia stage whispered, with a ruler. I wanted them uniform. Isabella giggled, the sound filling the kitchen with joy. Can I have some? Of course. Table or couch? Can we eat on the couch and maybe watch a movie? Alexander looked at Sophia for permission. At her nod, he grinned. Couch dinner it is. What movie? Something with explosions, Isabella said immediately. Mom always makes us watch documentaries when I'm sick. Documentaries are educational. Explosions are educational too. Physics and stuff. She has a point, Alexander said, earning a betrayed look from Sophia. What? Trajectory, force, chemical reactions. Very educational. They ended up watching a superhero movie, Isabella tucked between them on the ridiculously comfortable couch. She provided running commentary on the scientific impossibilities, while Alexander encouraged her, and Sophia reminded them both that movies weren't meant to be realistic. This is nice, Isabella said during a quiet moment. Being together. Sophia met Alexander's eyes over their daughter's head. The longing there matched her own. Yeah, baby, she said softly. It is nice. Isabella fell asleep before the movie ended, curled against Alexander's side. He looked down at her with wonder. I'm afraid to move, he whispered. She sleeps like the dead. You're safe. But Sophia made no move to take Isabella to bed. This moment, the three of them together, safe and warm, felt too precious to break. What are we doing, Sophia? Alexander asked quietly. Really? I don't know, she admitted. Taking care of our daughter, figuring it out as we go. And us? Is there an us? There was. Once. He shifted carefully, turning to see her better without disturbing Isabella. Could there be again? We're different people now, Alex. You're a CEO, I'm a teacher. You live in a penthouse, I drive a 10-year-old Honda. Those are just things, details. Important details. Your world, it's not my world. Then I'll change worlds. You can't just, I can. I will. If it means having you both in my life, I'll change anything. He reached over Isabella to touch Sophia's hand. I've spent 10 years building an empire. But sitting here with you two, this is the first time I've felt like I've built something that matters. You're in the emotion of the moment. Tomorrow you'll have board meetings and acquisitions, and tomorrow I'll wake up in the same house as my daughter, get to make her breakfast, drive her to school eventually, help with homework. His thumb stroked over her knuckles. Be part of a family. Do you know how long I've wanted that? You could have had it. Any number of women would have. I didn't want any number of women. I wanted the one who got away. He smiled sadly. Even when I thought you'd chosen someone else, I wanted you. Alex, I'm not asking for everything right now. I'm just asking for a chance to know you again, to see if what we had was real or just one perfect night. He squeezed her hand. To be the man you and Isabella deserve. And if it doesn't work, if we try and fail, it's not just us anymore. Isabella will have two parents who love her and respect each other, who put her first. He was quiet for a moment. But what if it does work? What if we get the family we both want? Sophia looked at their daughter, safe and sleeping between them. At Alexander, offering his heart with the same determination he brought to everything else. Slow, she said finally. We go slow. Date properly this time. No assumptions, no rushing. Slow, he agreed immediately. Whatever you need. And Isabella comes first, always. Always. And you can't just throw money at problems. I can try. At her look, he amended, I will try not to throw money at problems. And, Sophia, he smiled. Yes, to all of it. Whatever conditions, whatever timeline. Yes. You don't even know what I was going to say. Doesn't matter. If it means a chance with you, the answer is yes. Isabella stirred between them. Are you guys going to kiss now? She asked sleepily. Isabella. Sophia felt heat flood her cheeks. What? It's what happens in movies. The parents talk, then they kiss. Then there's a montage of happy family stuff. Life isn't a movie, baby. But it could be. Isabella sat up, looking between them. You like each other, I can tell. And I like both of you. So why not try? Out of the mouths of babes, Alexander murmured. I'm not a baby, Isabella protested. I'm 9, and I'm very mature for my age. Yes, you are, Sophia agreed, but relationships are complicated. Only if you make them complicated. Isabella yawned. Can I have hot chocolate before bed? Did you just manipulate us into agreeing to try dating so you could ask for hot chocolate? Alexander asked, amused. Maybe, Isabella grinned. Did it work? She's definitely your daughter, Sophia told Alexander. I'll make the hot chocolate, he said, standing carefully. But only because you need calcium for bone health. With marshmallows. Mini marshmallows. In moderation. As he headed to the kitchen, Isabella snuggled into Sophia. He's trying really hard, Mom. I know, baby. You're scared. What makes you say that? You get the same look when you have to parallel park. Isabella played with Sophia's bracelet. But you always manage to park eventually. Are you comparing your father to parallel parking? I'm saying sometimes scary things are worth doing. Isabella looked up at her with those wise gray eyes. He makes you smile. Your real smile, not your mom's smile. I have different smiles. Tons. But the real one is my favorite. Isabella sat up as Alexander returned with 3 mugs of hot chocolate. After Dad. Did she just call me Dad casually? Alexander nearly dropped the mugs. Like it's normal. Is it not normal? Isabella asked, accepting her mug. You're my dad, that's what I call you. It's very normal, Alexander said, voice thick. Just new. They drank their hot chocolate in comfortable silence, Isabella regaling them with stories from the hospital that she'd been too sick to share before. How one nurse had a secret candy stash, how the night janitor sang opera while mopping. You notice everything, Alexander said, impressed. Mom says I'm observant. It's a good quality. Useful in coding, too. He hesitated. Maybe tomorrow we could look at some basic programming together, if you're feeling up to it. Really? Isabella bounced slightly. You'll teach me? If your mum says it's okay. They both looked at Sophia with identical, hopeful expressions. The resemblance was so strong it took her breath away. 1 hour, she said, and only if you rest properly tonight. Deal! Isabella hugged them both, then yawned hugely. Okay, I'm tired now. Alexander carried her to bed, Sophia following. They tucked her in together, a simple domestic act that felt monumental. Love you, Mom, Isabella murmured. Love you, Dad. Alexander froze, tears in his eyes. I love you too, sweetheart. So much. In the hallway, he leaned against the wall, overwhelmed. She said she loves me. Of course she does. You're her father. You saved her life." Sophia touched his arm. "You okay?" "I've built companies, made billions, been on magazine covers. But nothing compares to hearing her say that. Welcome to parenthood, where a kid's love makes everything else seem insignificant. How do you do it? Love her so much when it's so terrifying, when anything could happen?" "You just do. You love them more than the fear." She smiled. "You'll get used to it. The constant low-level terror that something might hurt them. Does it get easier? No, but it gets familiar." She started toward her room, then paused. "Alex, you did good today. With the soup, the movie, all of it." "I had help." He caught her hand. "Sophia, will you have dinner with me tomorrow? Just us? We can order in after Isabella's asleep, talk like adults. Like a date, like a start." He brought her hand to his lips, kissing her knuckles gently. "Slow, remember." "Okay," she agreed, heart racing from just that simple touch. "It's a date." The next few weeks fell into a rhythm. Alexander worked from home most days, taking breaks to check on Isabella, bring her snacks, or help with the schoolwork Sophia had arranged with her teacher. He was a natural teacher, patient with Isabella's questions, challenging her to think deeper. "You're good with her," Sophia said one afternoon, watching them debug code together. "She makes it easy. She's brilliant." Alexander looked up from the screen. "Gets that from you? The stubbornness is all you." "I prefer determined," he grinned. "How was the parent-teacher conference call?" "Good. Mrs. Chen says Isabella can return to school part-time next month if her blood work stays stable." Sophia sat beside them. She's sending work packets to keep her caught up. "I can hire tutors, Alex." "Right. No throwing money at problems." He made a zipping motion over his mouth. "But if she needs help, we'll ask, promise." Their evening dates had become a cherished routine. After Isabella went to bed, they'd share dinner and conversation, slowly learning each other again. Alexander told her about the loneliness of success, the pressure of being responsible for thousands of employees. Sophia shared the challenges of single motherhood, the dreams she'd deferred. "I wanted to open an art school," she admitted one night over Chinese takeout, "before Isabella had a whole business plan. What happened? Life, pregnancy, the need for stable income and health insurance." She shrugged. "No regrets. Isabella was worth every sacrifice. What if you could do it now?" "Alex, not throwing money, just asking. If you could pursue that dream now, would you?" "Maybe. Someday." She changed the subject. "Tell me about Tokyo, the trip that morning." His face darkened. "The merger that made me rich and cost me you. You didn't know about Isabella then. You couldn't have known. But I knew I wanted to see you again. I knew that night was special." He pushed rice around his plate. "I almost didn't go. Stood in the hotel lobby for 20 minutes debating." "What made you leave?" "Fear, honestly. That night felt too big, too important. I was 25 and convinced I had to choose between love and success." He met her eyes. "I chose wrong. We both made choices. I could have tried harder to reach you. We were young. We were idiots. That too." He reached across the table, taking her hand. "But we're here now." "Yeah," she said softly. "We are." 3 weeks into their new arrangement, Isabella's blood work came back perfect. Dr. Chen declared her stable enough for regular activities, though she'd need monthly transfusions for the foreseeable future. "Can I go back to school full-time?" Isabella asked eagerly. "Let's start with half days," Dr. Chen suggested. "See how your energy levels do. And dance class, I missed so much. Light activity only. No competitions yet." Isabella negotiated like her father, eventually securing permission for modified dance classes and supervised coding club. She was vibrating with excitement by the time they left. "I can't wait to see everyone. Do you think they missed me?" "Of course they missed you," Sophia assured her. "Dad, will you drive me on my first day back?" Alexander nearly crashed into a parked car. "You want me to?" "Yeah, You have the cool car. Everyone will be so impressed. I'd be honored. That night, as they tucked Isabella in, she grabbed both their hands. I'm really happy, she said simply, even with the being sick part, because it brought us all together. Oh, baby, Sophia's eyes filled. We're happy too. Does this mean you'll stay together? Like a real family? Sophia and Alexander exchanged glances over her head. We're taking things slow, Alexander said carefully, but we'll always be your family no matter what. But wouldn't it be easier if we all just lived together forever? From the mouths of babes, Sophia murmured. I'm just saying, you guys are kind of slow for adults. In movies, it would have been resolved by now. Life isn't a movie, I know. Isabella sighed dramatically, but maybe it could be a little more like one. After she fell asleep, Alexander walked Sophia to her room. She has a point, he said quietly. We are kind of slow. It's been a month, Alex. That's not slow in the real world. In the real world, we already have a 9-year-old together. We're not exactly following traditional timelines. He stepped closer. Sophia, I know we said slow, but I need you to know something. What? I'm all in. Completely. You, Isabella, this family we're building, it's everything I want. He cupped her face gently. I love you. Still. Again. Always. Alex. You don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know, in case there was any doubt about my intentions. She covered his hands with hers. I love you too, but I'm terrified. Of what? Of ruining this. Of Isabella getting hurt if we don't work. Of losing myself in your world. The fears tumbled out. Of not being enough. Sophia. He rested his forehead against hers. You're everything. You raised our incredible daughter alone. You're brilliant and kind and brave. If anyone's not enough, it's me. You saved her life. You saved mine. He pulled back to meet her eyes. I was just existing before you came back. Now I have a reason to be better. She kissed him then, their first real kiss since that night 10 years ago. It was different now, deeper, more complex, weighted with history and hope. Slow, she whispered against his lips. Slow, he agreed, then kissed her again. Isabella's first day back at school was an event. Alexander drove them in his Tesla, Isabella chattering nervously the whole way. What if they forgot about me? What if I can't keep up? What if... Breathe, baby, Sophia said from the passenger seat. It's going to be fine. Your mom's right, Alexander added. Besides, you're Isabella Martinez Knight. You can handle anything. Martinez Knight? Isabella perked up. Is that my name now? Alexander's hands tightened on the wheel. Only if you want it to be, and if your mum agrees. I like it, Isabella decided. It sounds important. Everything okay up there? Sophia asked, noting Alexander's expression. Perfect, he said roughly. Everything's perfect. At school, Isabella's classmates surrounded her immediately, full of questions and excitement. Her teacher, Mrs. Chen, welcomed her warmly. We have a special surprise, Mrs. Chen announced. Isabella's father has generously donated new computers for our coding club. Alex, Sophia hissed. We talked about this. It's educational, he defended, and tax-deductible. Dad's the best, Isabella told her friends proudly. He's teaching me Python. As they left, Alexander was quiet. Finally, Sophia asked, What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. Too right. He caught her hand. I keep waiting to wake up. This is real, Alex. We're real. Promise. Promise. That evening, Alexander was in his office when Isabella knocked. Come in, sweetheart. Dad, can I ask you something? Anything. Isabella climbed into his lap, something she'd started doing recently. Why didn't you and Mom stay together before? Alexander chose his words carefully. We lost touch, miscommunication, bad timing. But you loved each other? I loved her. I think she cared for me too. She did. She kept this. Isabella pulled out a worn hotel napkin from her pocket. It has your handwriting. Some code you wrote to explain something. Alexander stared at the napkin. He remembered writing it, explaining recursive functions in the simplest terms. She kept this? In her jewelry box. I wasn't supposed to find it, but... Isabella shrugged. I was curious about my dad. What made you think it was from me? The handwriting. It matches the sticky notes you leave. Isabella studied him. Plus, Mom got this look when I asked about it. The same look she gets now when you smile at her. You're too observant for your own good. Mom says that too. Isabella snuggled closer. Are you going to marry her? I'd like to, when she's ready. I could help. I'm very persuasive. I bet you are. But let's let your mom set the pace, okay? Okay, but if you need help, I have ideas. I'll keep that in mind. Sophia appeared in the doorway. There you two are. Dinner's ready. Mom makes the best spaghetti, Isabella told Alexander. Even better than your soup. Traitor, Alexander said, tickling her. I thought my soup was your favorite. Your soup is my sick favorite. Mum's spaghetti is my healthy favorite. Fair enough. As they walked to dinner, Isabella between them, Alexander caught Sophia's eye over their daughter's head. Thank you, he mouthed. For what? She mouthed back. Everything. 6 months later, Isabella was thriving. Her blood disorder was managed with monthly transfusions, Alexander donating regularly. She was back to full-time school, modified dance classes, and had started entering coding competitions. Dad, Mum, look! She burst into the kitchen one Saturday morning waving a paper. I got accepted to the advanced coding camp. That's wonderful, Sophia hugged her. When is it? This summer, 2 weeks. It's in Portland, so not too far. Isabella bounced excitedly. Can I go, please? We'll need to talk to Dr. Chen about managing your treatments, Alexander said. But if she clears it, I don't see why not. Yes! Isabella danced around the kitchen. Oh, and Lily asked if I can sleep over tonight. Can I? 2 big asks in one morning, Sophia teased. What happened to my shy little girl? She got better, Isabella said simply. So can I. After confirming with Lily's parents and packing Isabella's overnight bag, including all her medications, they dropped her off. First sleepover since the hospital, Sophia said as they drove away. I'm nervous. She'll be fine. Lily's mom is a nurse, remember? And we're 10 minutes away. Alexander took her hand. So, we have the place to ourselves tonight. We do. Want to do something crazy? Like what? Cook dinner together? Watch a movie that doesn't have explosions? Talk about adult things? Wild, she smiled. I'm in. They ended up making homemade pizza, Alexander finally competent enough to help properly. As they waited for it to bake, he pulled her into a dance in the kitchen. No music, she pointed out. Don't need it. He spun her slowly. Sophia, these last 6 months have been amazing, she finished. Complicated and scary and amazing. Move in properly, not as Isabella's mom in the guest suite. As my partner, my love. He stopped dancing. I know we said slow. 6 months isn't that slow. Is that a yes? Ask me again. Sophia Martinez, love of my life, mother of my child, keeper of recursive function napkins. Will you move in with me? Share my bed, my life, my everything? When you put it that way, she kissed him. Yes. Really? Really? Isabella was right. We're kind of slow for adults. He lifted her onto the counter, kissing her deeply. I love you, both of you. So much it terrifies me. Good terrified or bad terrified? The best terrified. He pulled back. There's something else. Alex. He pulled out a small velvet box. Before you panic, it's not what you think. Well, it is, but not yet. He opened it to reveal a simple silver band. It's a promise ring. A promise that when you're ready, I'll ask properly. That I'm in this forever. Alex? Tears blurred her vision. It's perfect. Is that a yes to the promise? Yes to the promise. Yes to forever. Yes to being a family. She laughed through her tears. Yes to everything. He slipped the ring on her right hand. I love you. I love you too, even if you did measure carrots with a ruler. That was one time. They were laughing when the smoke alarm went off. The pizza! They rushed to rescue dinner, ending up ordering takeout anyway. We make a good team, Alexander said later, as they ate burnt pizza edges and waited for Chinese delivery. We do. She admired her ring. Think Isabella will be surprised? Are you kidding? She's probably got our wedding planned already. Knowing our daughter, you're right. Our daughter. Alexander smiled. I love saying that. I love hearing it. Sophia moved to his lap. Thank you. For what? For waiting for us. For being patient. For becoming the father she deserved. Thank you for letting me, for giving me a second chance. He held her close. For keeping that napkin. Isabella has a big mouth. Isabella is perfect like her mother. Flatterer. Truth teller. He kissed her. So what's next? Now? We finish dinner. Tomorrow. We tell Isabella we're officially together. And next month? Next year? We live. We love. We raise our brilliant daughter. She smiled. We be a family. I like that plan. Good, because you're stuck with us now. Best stuck I've ever been. When Isabella came home the next day, she took one look at them and squealed. Finally, did you kiss? Are you together? Can I plan the wedding? Slow down, Sophia laughed. Yes, we're together. No wedding planning yet. Yet? Isabella caught the word. So there will be a wedding. Eventually, Alexander confirmed, when your mom's ready. I'll be ready in exactly 6 months, Sophia said, surprising them both. Spring wedding. Small. Family only. Really? Alexander's face lit up. Really? Isabella's right. We're too slow for adults, and I want to be your wife. Mom! Isabella hugged her. This is the best day ever. Even better than when I got out of the hospital. Tied with that, Isabella noticed the ring. Is that a promise ring, like in the movies? Exactly like in the movies, Alexander confirmed, because sometimes life should be like a movie. Especially the happily ever after part, Isabella added. Especially that part, Sophia agreed, looking at her family. Complete, complicated, perfect. So can I plan the wedding? Isabella asked hopefully. Within reason, Sophia said. Define reason. No explosions. But Mom, as they debated wedding details, Isabella lobbying for fireworks, Alexander suggesting she could design the website, Sophia trying to keep things simple. None of them noticed the napkin on Alexander's desk. The one with recursive functions explained in simple terms. The one Sophia had kept for 10 years, the one that proved sometimes love, like code, could loop back to the beginning and start again. Better for the journey. Outside, Seattle's rain had stopped, sunlight breaking through the clouds. Inside, a family that had taken 10 years and a medical crisis to find each other planned a future that was worth every moment of waiting. Sometimes the longest roads lead to the best destinations. Sometimes secrets, once revealed, become miracles. And sometimes a father's blood doesn't just save a life, it creates a family. What did you think of Sophia, Alexander, and Isabella's journey? Have you ever had to make an impossible choice for someone you love? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. And if this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more emotional, romantic stories every week. Remember, sometimes the hardest decisions lead to the most beautiful outcomes. Until next time, keep believing in second chances and the power of love.